Hi everyone, our next assignment is called Word Web Report. Go ahead and open that file. Once you open it in Word, you may have to enable the editing to get it out of protected view. And then once you have it on the screen, you're in Word with the blue. Remember, Excel was green, the top menu bar. Word is blue. The name of the report is up here, Word Web Report. If we were doing a completely new document, it would be called Document 1. Over in the far left, just like in Excel, you have the Save option. You have the Undo, Redo, or Repeat. And then you also have the Quick Access Tool menu. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Over in the far right, you have the ribbon display options, minimize, maximize, or restore, and close. Then you have your tabs. Remember, files when you wanted to save or print, that takes you to the backstage area. Then you have your Home tab, which is the default tab, just like in Excel. But some of the other options are inserts also there, and review and references. But some of the other ones, mailings and references and layout and design, are a little bit different than Excel. So when you select the Home tab or switch over to a different tab, the ribbon changes. So I'll go back to the Home tab. The ribbon regarding the Home focuses mostly on the font style and location. You have your clipboard just like you do in Excel. So this is the clipboard group, and then over here is the font group, and it has everything to do with the font type and size. Paragraph, if you want something centered or left aligned, right aligned, do you want bullets or numbering, so that's the paragraph group. Then you have styles, and over in the far right you have editing. So if you were to click a different tab, the ribbon changes based on whatever the category is. So I'll go back to the Home tab. Hopefully you have this navigation window that opened over on the left-hand side. We're going to get back to that in a minute. If you were to look at the very bottom, which is called right above the taskbar, it's called the status bar, and it shows that this document is one of 3 pages and there's 1,026 words, and this book on the right-hand side here, it has an X in it. That tells you that there are spelling errors in the document. Not necessarily always true, because if we were to look at the spelling errors, it's the .edu and .gov. Word is considering those spelling errors. So that's what the X is. If it was a check mark, there would be no errors. But that can't guarantee you that it's perfectly spelled. Over on the far right, you have what's called read mode and print layout, and then you can zoom in or out. So right now we're what's called print layout, and all Word documents have a 1-inch top margin, a left margin of 1 inch, a right margin of 1 inch, and if you scroll down, you have a bottom of 1 inch, and then here's your break in between the 2 pages, and it starts all over again. So that's print layout, so you can pretty much see what it looks like on a piece of paper. If you were to click read mode, it pretty much gets rid of the ribbon at the top, but it puts it almost like books where you could flip pages. But what's nice about read mode, because there's more space on the screen, if you wanted to see a table that was really small, if you double click it, it makes it larger so you can see it. Then there's a magnifying glass, and if you click that, it makes it even larger. So you can only do this in read mode. So if I went to the next page and looked at the next table, again, I could double click it and then make it a little bit larger. And then just click behind it, and if you wanted to leave read mode, go right down to the bottom on the status bar and choose print layout. So normally when you're looking at a document, you can use your scroll wheel to move between the pages, or you can actually hover over the scroll bar and just drag it. And as you do drag, you have a tip bar that shows up, and it's saying you're on page 1, then navigating page 2, browsing the web, and page 3. Some people just use the arrow and just hover over it and just hold it down, or you can drag the scroll bar, or you can actually just click in the bar and it takes you like half a page each time if you wanted to scroll that way. What you could also do is over on the far left in the navigation window, it's under headings. So if I wanted to go to search engines, I would just click it and it takes me right to that topic, search engines. If I want to go to IPs and URLs, click that and it takes you right to IPs and URLs. So this is a way to navigate headings really quickly within a document. The other one is called Pages. If you click Pages, it gives you little thumbnails of all of the pages, and this happens to be 3 pages. If the scroll bar is pretty large, if you had 10 pages, the scroll bar would be smaller, and you'd be able to see all your little thumbnails of the pages. And you could just click around to the different pages. So that's in the navigation, headings and pages. Results is when you actually want to look for a word. So if I wanted to look for the word website, it'll show me how many times it falls in this document, 7 times, and it tells me in which paragraph they are in. And also on the far right, they're highlighted in yellow. And if you just scroll around, you can see all the words website that it found. You can also use this arrow, and it'll scroll to each one by one at a time. So that will be to search for a particular word, and I'm going to close out of that. I'm also going to close out of navigation. So you'll notice that in Word, there's probably more than one way to do something. So again, if you wanted to have that navigation window open, on the Home tab, you could click Find, and it opens it up for you. And again, you could, I'll close out of the search. I could look at headings, pages, or results. If it was closed, again, hover over Find, but if you wait, you'll see a little screen tip, and the shortcut is Control F, and it's to find text or other content in the document. So I'm going to hold Control and press F, and it opened up the window again. Or the third way, if you click View in the Show group, you could click Navigation, and it opens up again. And go to Headings and Page. I'm going to leave it on Headings for now. What you can also do if you want to get either to the beginning or the end of a document, Control End, E-N-D, the key right underneath Home, takes you to the end of the document. Control Home will take you to the beginning of the document. Don't press Control and the letter N. If you do that, Control and the letter N, it opens a completely blank document. Say Document 1. So let me just close out of here, and I'm back to where I was. It was Control End, E-N-D, and Control Home. So that's navigating. How about selecting? So if I were to hover over the word organized and I wanted to select that word, you don't have to be at the beginning of the word. You can be anywhere in it and just drag across, and it'll select it for you. Or just hover over it and double click. Any word and double click. If you triple click, it'll do the whole paragraph. Double click is a word. Triple click is a paragraph. Double click, triple click. If you wanted to select 2 words, unique addresses, again, you don't have to be at the beginning of the word. I'm going to go towards the end with the I-beam and just drag across. As long as I'm in the beginning, at least in one word, it knows that I want the entire word, not just half of it. You could also, when you're typing, there's the insertion point, that's the flashing cursor in front of the S and since, that's where text would be typed. If I wanted text after the word content in the first paragraph, just because my mouse, the I-beam, is sitting over here, when I start typing, it's actually going to be typed there. I would have to actually click here so that the content would go there. So there's the flashing cursor, and then there's the I-beam, which is the mouse control. It's an I-beam in the document. When you're up in the ribbon, it changes to an arrow. So in the document, it's an I-beam, hence the capital letter I, and in the ribbon, it's the arrow. If I were to come over here to the left-hand side, it's called the selection area, and I could just click once, and it selects that line, or I could select that line, or I could select and drag, or, again, double-click out on a word, selects the word. Double-click out in the selection area is the whole paragraph. Triple-click is the whole document. So double-click outside in the selection area is just that paragraph. Triple-click is the whole thing. Another way to select, and again, you may want to select all of the document if you wanted to change the font type or the font size. If you were to choose the Home tab, there is a button called Select, and you could do Select All, and also it's Control A to select all of your document, and then click anywhere to deselect. So anytime that you want to not select anymore, to deselect, just click anywhere outside of that area. So let's say, for example, we wanted a word in bold. So I double-click People, and then I get what's called a mini toolbar, and everything that you see here is also up in the font group, and it's just a way to save you from moving all the way up to the ribbon. So I could click bold here, and then I could double click another word, and again, if I missed my mini toolbar, I could come up here, and then if you hover over it, you'll also notice that the shortcut is Control B for bold. So I can do bold. Now, in the SAM training, what they want you to do is to double click one word and put it in bold, and then select another word, but they don't want you to use the bold here, and they don't want you to use the bold up here, and they don't want you to use Control B. What they want you to use is what's called repeat, and repeat is the redo. If you hover over it, it says it'll repeat the bold, and there you go. So if I wanted to select organized in the first paragraph, I could change the color, the font color to red, and computer to red. Now if I were to select another word, and then before I select another one, hold Control. Keeping Control down, and you can randomly select as many words as you want, and then either change the font color, put it in bold, put it in italic. You can do a lot of things, and it does it to all four of them instead of doing them separately. And it doesn't matter what words you put in bold or red, or it doesn't, you're just experimenting here, so I'm not checking what word you have in bold and what's in red. You're just experimenting. You could even change, instead of red, use the down arrow and select a different color. You can do whatever you'd like. We're just experimenting. So what else I'd like to introduce at this time which is a pretty cool feature. If you were to look at the first page, the very first paragraph, navigating the web, the second paragraph starts conclusion, and that really should be at the end of the document, of the report. So if you look at it here in the navigation heading section, and there it is at the top, at the beginning of the document, you can actually, instead of cutting this paragraph and then going to the end of the report and pasting it, you can actually use your navigation window and then just hold and drag it so it's on the bottom. And there it is on the bottom. So this is what's really nice about the navigation. You can change the paragraph headings in different locations. So that's about it. If I wanted to view this as all the multiple pages, I would click View. I'm going to close the navigation window, choose multiple pages, and then I can see what they all look like. So again, it doesn't matter what you've selected and put in red and purple or bold. We're just experimenting with navigating and getting comfortable with Word. So go ahead and save and submit this. Thank you.